And now, dear esteemed guests and project partners as well, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this multi-stakeholder online event, our online multiplier event for our joint Erasmus Plus project, which started last year in October 2022. So first of all, even though you have received all the information in advance of this event via email, maybe let's clarify together the question, what is an Erasmus Plus multiplier event? An Erasmus Plus multiplier event is, on the one hand, national and as well as transnational. It's a conference, could be also seminars and other events organized with the purpose of disseminating the intellectual outputs, the results produced by a project. And so this will be mainly our task for our joint session today. Today, we have participants as well as partners from Belgium, where our partner is located in Liège. Bonjour. Participants from Lithuania, where our partner is located in Vilnius. I hope I pronounced it correctly, Labadiena. Yeah. Participants from Italy, where our partners are located in Milan as well as in Vicenza, so both more or less in the northern part of the country. So buongiorno. And also participants, of course, from Germany, where all our partners, 4 in total, are located in Krefeld, Munich, Kerpen, and Cologne. So guten Tag zusammen. And of course, participants from Spain, where our leading organization is located in Madrid. So buenos días.
Buenos días.
A todos. All are joining us to discuss and share their insights on various important aspects of our project and, of course, its results. So I'm talking of which, of course, we're going to talk about the project results so far, since we undertook, let's say, an extensive survey with nearly 300 trainees, nearly 100 trainers, and over 30 training centers, center managers in all 5 partner countries. So this, you can see this will be mainly our agenda during our more or less 90-minute session today. And this is quite packed and includes, besides presenting the project and sharing the state of the art, also recommendations as well as the presentation of useful digital tools. Additionally, we all will also have the opportunity to have a free discussion. And we are really excited to hear from each of you about your experiences, thoughts, and also suggestions that will support us in achieving our project goals. So as we progress through this meeting, I encourage all of you to actively participate, ask questions, and we would also appreciate feedback. And let's see, and let's use this opportunity on the one hand to network as well as exchange and learn from each other. Before we start, I would like to point out that the project partners are currently preparing the results of the first project phase, which we present today. We currently preparing it in all partner languages in French, Italian, Spain, Lithuanian, as well as German and English, of course. And these will be available for download quite shortly. And furthermore, I would like to point out that beforehand, that at the end of this event today, we will send a short link in order to receive some feedback from you. So this short questionnaire, I mean, let's say only takes a maximum of 2 minutes. So we would very much appreciate your feedback on this event. Once again, welcome to all of you, and yeah, let's get started. At first, I would like to introduce our friends from the International Formation Center in Madrid, in Spain, who are leading the project and will now present it in its entirety.
Yes, thank you to Germany, to Sebastian from Talentbrücke. Thank you so much. Welcome everybody today to our Multiply event. Thank you for joining the first project phase. So yes, as Sebastian already mentioned, we are really proud to present you today our first project result of our project TechnoVET, which will last 26 months actually. And in total, we will have 5 big project outcomes, results. And yes, today we are going to introduce you the first one actually. So for those who are not yet familiar with the Erasmus Plus program, I just want to make a short introduction into this, I would call it amazing opportunity for everyone for lifelong learning. So the Erasmus Plus program is the EU-funded program in the fields of education, training, youth, and sport. So its overall goal is to support citizens in their personal and professional development. So this is also the reason why we can be here all together today. So this Erasmus Plus program enables us to work in this project in international partnerships. And the main goal is that we are going to produce innovative outcomes for the overall goal of contributing to more inclusive, greener, and digitally fit societies. Especially in our case, our project pursues the goal of improving digitalization in vocational education and training across Europe through our international exchange of experiences. As Sebastian from Germany already mentioned, in our project, the partners are based in 5 different European countries, which are Lithuania, Spain, Italy, Germany, and Belgium. So now I want to show you a bit the path of our project in in just like some minutes because we have lots of things to discuss. So in this project, we created 3 work packages. It starts with the work package 2, work package 3, and work package 4. So this is we created these paths to work on or to achieve the aim of the project in the end. So in these different work packages, we are going to conduct different tasks, and also we will be able to achieve different project results. So the overall aim of the project, as I already mentioned, is that we want to advance digitalization in vocational education and training. So our aim is that we are going to spread the guiding idea of digitalization in the 5 different, or we hope moreover, in the European Union. So for this reason, we are going to create innovative solutions for the detected deficits in the 3 areas of technology, soft skills, and administrative organization. So the work package 2 that we are going to talk about today, more specifically, will be a report about how vet centers, trainees, and especially trainers have used the technology in the past year. Here we found out which technology has been the most useful for them, and especially where is need for improvement, because this is actually the really important part for us, because our aim of this project is that we want to improve the digitalization. So this is why we need to find out where do we need to improve. So this report, as already Sebastian said, is based on a survey that we conducted in every partner country. So this survey is super important for us because it enables us to work in the work package 3 and work package 4. So here we are going to respond to the needs for improvements that we detected before. In work package 3, we will have two general project outcomes. So first of all, we are going to write a report that should guide as an aid, should serve as an aid and guide on the application of new technical solutions as I said already, we always want to improve, or our main goal is always we want to improve the digitalization. Here, especially digitalization of learning content. The second project result in the work package 3 will be that we are going to develop skill training courses. Here we want to prepare and train students as well as trainers for the digitalized learning environment. The work package 4 also will respond to the needs for improvement that we detected in the work package 2 from the surveys. So here we are going to write this time a report with administrative solutions that also should serve as a guideline. The second big outcome of the work package 4 will be an open source tool. So here we want to achieve that we can store all of our results of this whole project, like reports, courses, and documents, as in an open source platform. And also our main goal about this solution, let's say, is that we want to create or to give the possibility to the community that they can exchange as an open source community about the state of art, of digitalization, vocational education and training. And also we want them to further work on our ideas that we created so far. So as you can see, all our project outcomes will be freely accessible to everyone. So I encourage you later also to download our final report and just to keep the track on our project outcomes. So this was already from my part, the presentation of the project, and now handing to Belgium, Italy, and Lithuania actually that are going to present us the first project results, the survey results. And there you will see what we found out so far.
Yeah. Thank you, Christine, and hello everyone from Liège, Belgium. So as Christine just mentioned, we will now dive directly into our first result, the surveys that were conducted in our 5 partner countries between January and March of this year. And we had 3 target groups, and you can see from the table on the screen that we managed to get a significant number of responses from the 3 target group. And now we will dedicate some minutes to examine the main trends and results of these target groups. I will start with the results of the VET centers, and then we'll give the handover to the partners in Italy and in Lithuania for the other target groups. And here as well, bear in mind that the surveys were rather long and comprehensive, and we will present only some elements, some important points. And if you are interested in all the details and all the detailed responses country by country, feel free to download the survey final report, which will be soon available in English and in all languages of the partnership very shortly. So regarding VET centers, of course, what we were interested firstly to know about them, what was the question of what concretely could be organized during the pandemic. So here we could see that for more than 60% of the respondents, it was possible to organize theory classes and info sessions. On the other hand, practical classes and tests and exams were only mentioned by less than 25% of the respondents. So here we could already identify a need for support to organize all kinds of activities online. We were also interested to know which tools the VET centers could use during this difficult time of the pandemic. What they considered the most useful were tools that enable communication, collaboration, and data storage. And that was reflected in the answers they gave to the question about which concrete tools they could use. So of course, the vast majority of the respondents mentioned email as a tool that could be used during the pandemic, but also platforms such as Teams or Zoom that were used by more than 60% of the respondents, and that became very successful during the pandemic. Also mentioned were tools like the Google and the Office suites online, and tools like YouTube for videos, WhatsApp for instant messaging, and Doodle to organize events or set dates for events and meetings online. In our studies, we could identify several big trends regarding VET centers. Some are rather positive, some are difficulties, but difficulties on which we want to work, because as Christine mentioned, the aim of the survey was to identify area where support was needed from all of the target groups, and to provide solutions to enhance digitalization in VET. So what was positive from the answers that we received from our target groups? First, most of the respondents mentioned that digital tools are now part of the way VET centers work, and that they continue learning about new digital tools. So there is a very big impetus from the pandemic to become more digital. Most of the respondents as well indicated that they consider that digitalization has a positive influence on creativity, and they report also an improved work-life experience for VET staff, for example, with the enhanced possibility of home office. If we now turn to the difficulties, what was mostly mentioned by the respondents was a lack or limited trainings on digital tools during the pandemic, which can of course be related to the fact that the pandemic was unexpected, and it was of course difficult to organize trainings on tools that that the VET centers were discovering at the same time of the pandemic. Then a specific aspect of VET is that a lot of the topics of VET are crafts, are manual trades, and they're less easy to teach online than full theory classes. Also, most of the VET centers mentioned that at the stage of the pandemic and at the current stage, they see only a limited positive influence of digitalization on their students' learning success. Then, what is also difficult at this stage is to standardize digital processes and to transition fully to digital working techniques. And here also, everyone is aware that it's a quite complex process, that it takes time and that you cannot do it from one day to another. So here as well, TechnoVET is aiming to help VET centers in that regard. And then finally, a difficulty that we cannot ignore is the need of funding and appropriate IT equipment to fulfill the goal of digitalization. So that was it for VET centers, and now I will hand over to Italy for trainers.
Thank you, Caroline. You have introduced a lot of topics concerning the survey, and now I can only confirm that trainers we surveyed, 90 trainers give us some their idea about how they use the technology, what they felt to miss during this really hard time we have experienced during the pandemic. So going in to analyze the data, 90 trainers, the subject they are training, the topics, the area in which they are working are optometry, healthcare, language education, finance, academic rules and management tools, law, communication, and job security. So most of the topic they are teaching are, I would like to say, easy maybe to be teach online. We got, sorry, Sebastian, can you go back, please? As you can see, the number of trainers we have surveyed, we got 23 answers from Spain and 32 from Italy. So a really interesting number of trainers. Okay, go for it. Here we have a little bit of impression concerning what they think the trainers could be helpful for them. So 20% replay that a guideline could be helpful. 19% think that digital tools now are part of their way of working. 18% think that digitalization improved their work-life experience. As Caroline said, now many teachers could also give lessons online. 17% think that the digitalization process has been standardized in their school. We saw just before that the school improved a lot in application and in many tools that can help to give lesson to the student of the school. 17% think that the subject they are teaching could be teach remotely. It's not a big number. So it seems that maybe some teacher need something more to be more good in give lesson online. Okay, could you? Okay, thank you. Concerning the trainers, we can say that 4%, concerning the trainers, we can say that the country, the most able to adapt and to use digital tools is Lithuania. Lithuania give a rate of 4/5. Belgium 3.11. Italy a little bit more, 3.22. Germany 3, and Spain is maybe the higher between Italy and Lithuania with a 3.33%. Sorry, rate between 0 and 5. Concerning the capacity to adapt to the new situation, the country that has more the easy way to adapt to the situation was Belgium, followed by Lithuania. Then we got Spain, Italy, and Germany. Thank you. Can you go further? Concerning the tools, the most used have been Zoom. We got a 60% of trainers that told that Zoom was the tools that they use. After that, we got a 44% rate Microsoft Teams, 49% rate YouTube, 45% rate all the application supplied by Google, and 74% declared that they were using mail. And here is the most interesting aspect, because when I was looking at the survey, I was wondering how mail could be helpful in a trainer or to give a lesson online. We have Edgar that would like to ask me something.
Yeah, thank you. Had any chance to use metaverse or 3D telecommunications, other type of telecommunications?
Metaverse communication has not been mentioned in our survey. Nobody probably used this kind of application. We have to say that maybe metaverse is more a new application. the survey surveyed the situation in 1919 during the pandemic.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Could you go forward, Sebastian? And concerning the category, trainers thought they were more helpful in their way of teach, where, of course, how we can see, communication tools. And here we got Spain that rated these for 91% as most useful. Then we got data storage, and followed by collaboration and learning apps that are they got quite the same rate. So apparently here, Spain is the country that thought more useful some category of application. Other country, they rate a little bit less compared to them. I don't remember, Sebastian, if I have another slide. Okay, I don't have any other argument to say concerning teachers. In the case you are interested in go deep on the topic, because the information are very huge, you can download the survey and the report from each country. Thank you.
Okay, so probably moving to the students and Lithuanian part. So the third group of the survey, now of the respondents, that was the students. And we are happy to survey 292 students. And let's look what their responses, what their answers are. So based on the average answer, the survey results revealed the moderate level of satisfaction by the students in the digitalization process. So as you can see, students state that they were really quick to adapt to the new learning situation. And this transition from analog to digital working techniques was really successful to them. Now, of course, they state that digital tools have become the part of the way they learn, and this even improved their work-life experience. However, the students are less satisfied with the digitalization process in their schools, and as well as with the digital tools provided by the educational institutions to suit their learning needs. And in their opinion, online learning didn't give more education options than traditional learning. Now, these statements and many other statements are rated very similarly by the students in all partner countries. Now, in general, probably the answers to this question, or to what extent was the digitalization process standardized in your school, differs most. Here, if it's possible to say that it really differs. Now, it should be mentioned that the students in Spain, Lithuania, and Italy assess digitalization in their schools as highly satisfying. Now, while students in Belgium and Germany see this process as not enough satisfying. Moving further to the survey results, probably here the students only prove what was already mentioned by the survey results from vet centers and the trainers, that the most used digital tools were, as we see, Zoom, email, and Microsoft Teams. which was mentioned by more than 50% of the students. More than 40% of the students mentioned YouTube and WhatsApp. And of course, Microsoft Office tools and Google for Education tools, as well as virtual learning environment Moodle were mentioned by some students, but probably here could very well be seen the difference among the countries, now the usage of the tools. So focusing here on those tools, it should be stated that the tools for communication and collaboration helped most in this online learning periods. As we see now, tools that helped to interact more, that gave more interaction possibilities are mentioned here. So what do the students think about the skills, the digital skill? So probably no doubt, and no one is surprised that students see themselves as real digital natives. They state and they said that they were already experienced in using digital tools before the pandemic. Nevertheless, a big number of them stated that their digital competence really developed since the beginning of the pandemic. Now, students liked working with other people in digital learning environment, and probably what is really very important and what should we focus on also here is that they see that their motivation to learn has really changed, and they state that their creativity now, what includes idea generation as well as problem solving, was influenced by the digitalization process. So this is what we see from the students' responses. And here I am glad to give the floor to our partner from Germany on the recommendations.
Yes, thank you, Osva. I will present the recommendations, which I have split into those for VET centers, for trainers, and for students. Let's start with the VET centers. The VET centers, they are the driving force and the implementers of digitization. And indispensable for success is to define and to implement a strategy, and what is absolutely necessary is to convince the biggest opponents. It's like a change process, where you have to do the same. Openness to innovation is a prerequisite for success, and it might be that this openness requires also a change of mindset, for example, of the manager or the general manager. It's possible that it's not necessary, but it could be possible. It's the same regarding the staff members. That could require an individual support for individual support for teachers and trainers, for example, help or advice from external partners. Well, in a nutshell, you can say that it requires this openness to innovation could require an invest of staff, of time, and of money. An important point for the successful implementation of the strategy concerns the equipment. And what is not surprising is, at least for Germany, it's that the equipment has to be improved, and provision of hardware and software is requested. As you have seen, the survey has shown that especially the practical training was hardly implemented remotely. And what was listed in these recommendations were that perhaps augmented reality could be a possibility to realize practical training remotely. Well, the VET center, as we've seen, is responsible for defining and developing the strategy, but it is ultimately implemented by the trainers. The trainers, also the teachers in school, have to be motivated to learn about digital tools and to use them. Their awareness has to be raised on learning apps, data storage, or also learning management systems. And for doing so, on the one hand, a change of trainers' mindset and attitude could be necessary. As we've seen before with the management, it's not that it has really something which is required, but it could be. And on the other hand, the VET Center has to enable the teachers to learn new tools. The provision of hardware and software is relevant also for trainers, as we've seen also, and it has to be for free. And what is of very high importance is the communication. Trainers are responsible for introducing their students to new digital tools and to new learning methods. And what is really remarkable in this point is that the recommendation to improve trainers' communication has come from the students. It was not from the VET centers, it were the students, and they were the ones who see a need for improvement in terms of communication skills. So what do trainers or teachers need to be successful? They need a structured and lasting framework for learning. It could be very helpful to involve trainers in the methodological and didactic change in teaching, as well as in the entire implementation process of this new framework. And it could be also helpful to involve students by testing and encouraging improvement, and also to involve them as well in the implementation process. What other needs are? They need trainings for online teaching and also training for communication. And this could be trainings in-house, but it's possible also external trainings. And they need support. And the support measures can be really very, very simple, such as a peer-to-peer exchange between trainers, or also weekly digital hour only for trainers. And another thing which is also very important is what trainers need to use more is they have to think more out of the box. They have to learn from other sectors and different industries. They have to collect best practice examples and adapt them for their own practical training online. To motivate students, it could be used, for example, game-based learning, creative tasks, and others that we have mentioned here on this slide. These are all recommendations for VET centers and schools and the trainers. And with these recommendations are these recommendations are basically the conditions to be able to meet the needs of the students and of the trainees. And that brings me now to my final point, the students, recommendations for students and trainees. What they need a common strategy on methods and tools used by trainers. They used to be better equipped, and this has to be for free, as it has to be for free also the equipment for teachers. They need better online teaching methods and possibilities. They need more opportunities for interaction, and they need an improvement of the practical part of training in order to have more possibilities for online and remote learning. In this case, VET centers and also their staff members are aligned to meet the needs for future-oriented, high-quality training. Thank you for your attention, and I will give the floor to our Italian partner, Abstract.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, Silke, and welcome everybody from Italy, from Milan. So the surveys we conducted revealed that many of the tools used currently are fee-based. It seems to us that many teachers and students, but especially decision makers in VET centers and educational institutions, do not know that there are also open source tools Open source tools are tools and software solutions that can be used completely free of license costs for communication, collaboration, ideation, and other areas. This saves money, which could then be used alternatively in the introductory trainings for the handling of these new implemented tools, which was a topic remarked by a lot of surveyed people. On this slide, we have listed some of the most popular and open source alternatives. So, for example, in the area of communication, it turned out that the most used tools are Zoom and Microsoft Teams, as also mentioned before. And as open source alternative, we want to name Big Blue Button, which is a live session tool, which is also suitable to perform virtual classroom sessions, since it offers a lot of possibilities to interact with your audience, with your students. But also Jitsi and Rocket Chat are easy to use communication tools for free. As for collaboration tools, many of the surveyed people mentioned Monday and Jira in order to manage tasks and internal projects. As open source alternative, we would like to refer here GitHub projects and Tiger. Last but not least, for the area of ideation, the most used tools are Miro and ThoughtFlow, which are really great tools, but unfortunately, they require costs. And as an open source alternative, we want to put the awareness to Affine and Etherpad. Both tools are easy to use and really straightforward when it comes to collaboration, collaborative mind mapping, or ideation. Now, we would like to highlight 3 tools which, in our opinion, stand out very much when it comes to handling performance and user experiences. The first tool you see on the next slide is GatherTown. GatherTown is a web conferencing tool, but with the added component of seeing a virtual room, more like a computer game. You and other participants can meet in a 2-dimensional environment. Everybody has to set up an own avatar in order to enter this. And yeah, with this avatar, you can move around the area and chat with others, interact with objects, just like in real life. It is recommended to use for companies, either internally or externally, and also for educational belongings. In the following now, we will share some insights of this tool. So for example, here you see that you can create a variety of different rooms and areas in GatherTown based on your needs. So for example, on the right side, you see a large room, for example, for a presentation, a seminar or webinar to a large audience. And on the left side, you see that you can also create rooms to simulate an office or a workspace environment, or maybe a classroom environment, so more smaller and for less people. On the next slide, you see the avatars, how they interact with objects, so how your avatar, for example, can interact with, for example, on the right side, they can pick up a document, they can pick it up, they can read it or download it and save it on the local storage. Or like on the left side, you could see the agenda of a meeting or the agenda of a seminar. Exactly. On the next slide, there are also 2 different kinds of meeting rooms, or let's say more co-working spaces. You can have one-to-one meetings or conversations with only one person, between 2 persons. And you also have the possibility to create like co-working zones where which allows to your students maybe that they can do group work and things like this. So let's summarize this. As said in the beginning, GatherTown allows users to interact with each other in a shared digital space. It supports social interaction since it provides a more engaging and interactive way for students and teachers to connect and interact compared to traditional video conferencing tools like Zoom or Microsoft. It creates a sense of presence and proximity, allowing users to move around and have spontaneous conversations, similar to how they would act in a physical room or campus. It supports collaboration and group work. As seen before in GatherTown, students can gather in virtual rooms and collaborate on projects, discuss ideas, or work on assignments all together. They can move around the environment, join different groups or breakout rooms, and engage in conversations, which fosters teamwork, peer learning, and active participation. GatherTown also supports immersive events and activities. So, for example, schools or educational institutions can organize virtual orientations, guest lectures, career fairs, and social gatherings. The accessibility, GatherTown is easily accessible, even on low-end devices and with limited internet bandwidth. It doesn't require powerful hardware or specialized equipment to participate. And last but not least, GatherTown is customizable. You can personalize it. It means that you can fully customize your virtual spaces to match with your branding, with your campus layout, in order to give your students a familiar feeling of the school's identity or their sense of belonging. As next tool, we want to present a tool which is directed to online education. It is a learning management system facilitating synchronous collaboration via virtual classroom sessions. What does it mean and for whom is it? This means that it is an online learning platform to provide online courses based on different teaching learning methodologies. It is accessible upon registration. Teachers can create and manage their e-learning courses, as well as track their students' progress. You can have optional virtual classroom sessions, which can be conducted within the course format. And it's useful for companies, either for the internal or external training, and for educational institutions of any size. In the following, also for this tool, we will present some impressions. Here, for example, on this slide, you see the course catalog from which students can pick and choose their courses. They can then click through the content to exams and knowledge queries, as well as communicate with other learners or even ask teachers for help and support. On the next slide, we show how easy it is for teachers and course creators to create courses via the built-in authoring tool. At this point, we want to highlight that this is a 100% open source tool. For course authoring, you will not need license-based tools like, for example, Articulate. And last but not least, on the next slide, exactly, this is how the implemented virtual classroom session would look like. What you see here is the open source tool we presented before. It is called Big Blue Button and offers a lot of features in order to interact with your audience. Another key highlight of Big Blue Button is the real-time analytics in order to track the participation and attention of your students. So let's also summarize this. During COVID-19, most virtual classes were taught using business-focused video platforms such as Zoom and Microsoft Teams. These platforms focus on sharing their screens and webcam with limited built-in assessments, which is not ideal for teaching online. The goal for live collaboration, such as virtual classroom, is not to meet, but to learn. And this is where the presented tool sets the focus on. Virtual classroom combined with a learning management system improves the synchronous learning activities, and educators can easily assess the performance of the class and of individual students, leading to meaningful insights on which students were struggling or even successing. I will now hand over to Jörg Zell from Interaktiv, our project partner from Germany, and he will give you some insights into Padlet and artificial intelligence tools in vet centers.
Thank you very much, Nicole, and hello to all of you from Germany. So yeah, let's have a look at one more amazing tool, which is called Padlet. Padlet is an online tool. It's a so-called software as a service, and you can see the URL on the screen. Padlet is like a digital notice board, like a wall where you can post all kinds of things. So it allows students to easily synthesize, for example, texts, images, links, videos, documents, and so on. And this makes it really a great collaboration tool for students and teachers. And of course, we do not want to do any advertising for one specific tool. So this is just one good example for all the great tools that are out there that might help you to digitally enhance your collaboration with students. So on the slide, we collected some use cases, and Padlet is really great for group work, as a social space for your class, for example, for sharing resources, or as a Q&A space. And you might use it for note-taking, for brainstorming ideas in a group, as a document hub, or even for interactive storytelling and much more. So if we have a look at the highlights of the tool, it's really easy to use for one thing. It's a drag and drop system, and it has a very low learning curve for your students, for example. And it really facilitates collaboration and helps all students to participate, even those who would maybe normally in a normal classroom situation be a bit reluctant to participate. So this is really enhancing collaboration. Then another highlight for sure is that you have all kinds of different formats you can use for building your wall and to organize your ideas. So it could be a map, for example, it could be a timeline, it could be a stream, a grid, and so on. And there's also a huge community of Padlet users, and there are a lot of publicly available boards where you could have a look at and get some inspiration for your ideas and for your boards and for your own use cases. And so finally, I want to show you one specific feature, which is called I Can Draw. And in general, Padlet is really well maintained and up to date with new features. So with this one, the I Can Draw feature, you can even use AI, artificial intelligence, to generate images. So you would describe in a natural language, in your language, in a normal sentence, what kind of image idea you have. And the artificial intelligence would then create an image for you. So in this example, you see on the screen, the description just says an expressive oil painting of a basketball player dunking, as depicted as an explosion of a nebula. And then you see what the AI created and what the result would be. So this is really a great feature, and it's also a perfect transition to our last topic in this presentation. We would like to have a quick look at the artificial intelligence-based future in vet and education in general. And because when we talk about digital tools in our project, we have to take into consideration how, for sure, AI will change many aspects of our everyday life in the next future or in the next near future, let's say. And with all the recent hype about ChatGPT, for example, we shouldn't forget that AI is a lot broader than what you now see with ChatGPT. ChatGPT as a generative AI with its large language models is right now the most obvious application, but there are many other overlapping fields for artificial intelligence. So this picture you see now on the screen, let's call it the AI landscape. It's a nice overview of the whole AI landscape with all the overlapping fields that will be important to our future, I think. So let's have a look at the Classroom 2025. When talking to teachers and trainers these days, I personally have the impression that there's a lot of uncertainty and maybe even fear among teachers and trainers about how AI will really change education. And of course, there are some very real and valid concerns. If you could go back to the picture again. So there are valid concerns. What about all the copyright issues with AI-generated images and text, for example? And what about all the inaccuracies and factual errors you have with ChatGPT, for example? So those are all really things we have to talk about, and we have to talk about the dangers and also about the possibilities arising from the application of AI. And I would just like to point out 3, let's say, personal opinions and put that into the discussion for later, maybe, what we are seeing in the near future. My first point is, if you could just stay with the other picture, please. Thank you. My first point is that I think we in our bubble in technology and also in education, we often overestimate how much is possible in 1 year, and we often underestimate what is possible, say, in 3 years in our education system. So I think those people who say that AI changes everything overnight right now, I think they are wrong, because our systems, our education systems are sometimes pretty slow to adapt. But on the other hand, I also think that we are not talking about long-term change. So our educational systems will look a lot different, I think, already in 3 years. My second point is similar. It's about innovation. I think innovation can come in 2 ways. On the one hand, things are getting a little bit faster, a little bit better, a little bit cheaper over time. You all know that kind of innovation. And then there's the other way, the other kind of innovation where things are really disruptive, where everything is in question and it has the potential to create this brave new world. And no doubt, I think we are right now experiencing this kind of innovation with artificial intelligence. And I think that could give us a lot of opportunity. And that's my third point. Someone from Google said a couple of days ago that those big companies, they don't have a moat anymore. They don't have their firewall around them that protects them. Right now with AI, everybody is able to create and to innovate. And with open source, with the open source application of artificial intelligence, for example, all these startup companies and even individuals like you and me, we have a lot more power and we are able to innovate a lot faster, or to innovate on our own. So I think, in my opinion, talking about the role of teachers, I think the role will change, and the coaching role will be more or less the future of teaching. And on the other hand, there's no need to be afraid of AI and to think that will get rid of teachers, for example. So, by the way, this picture is AI generated. Now, if we look at the last or the next slide, I would like to have a quick look at the near future of AI tools in education. And I think we can summarize 3 areas where artificial intelligence will have a significant impact on existing processes and tools. The first area I would call learning data analysis and automation. And I think we can expect that AI tools will help, for example, automate repetitive tasks there, or create automated competency sheets for students, or evaluate available teaching data for you, or even predict grades for students based on data. The second area I would call AI-based recommendations, and this would probably comprise the generation of curricula for a specific class, the generation of individual learning paths for students, or the AI-based career proposals and academic prospects. And last but not least, the third area I would call advanced learning experience. And examples of that field would be AI-based content generation for assessments, for example, or AI tutoring and AI learning assistance for your students, so study buddies, for example, which are generated by AI. All right, with that, I would like to wrap up the presentation and go back to Sebastian. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. That was a lot, I could assume. So first of all, thank you, everyone, all participants from all countries. Thank you so much for your attention. And yeah, thanks to all the partners for the insightful presentations we've just heard. There was a lot of content. I'm now pretty sure we are all eager to engage in a discussion and yeah, learn more about how we all, not only the partners, maybe can benefit from the project results. As we mentioned in the beginning, we of course want to hear from all of you, you as our guests today, and of course discuss the digitalization of vocational education in your respective institutions. And as we move all towards the digital era, it's important for us to understand the impact on our work. To guide our discussion a wee bit, we have of course prepared some questions for you. So on our next slide, we see these questions. And yeah, firstly, we're interested in what has improved in your institution since the vocational education became more digitalized. Secondly, has your daily work routine become more digitalized? And what aspects have you noticed? And maybe, yeah, how has it improved your work? And finally, how can you and your institution benefit from the project results presented today? So of course you can also use the chat. I realized that a few of you already used the chat function within Zoom, and of course you can post whatever answer and question in there, but of course you are also welcome to speak up and ask your questions and your impressions, questions, whatever, within our chat. Yeah, so please feel free, and we from our side of the partners, but also I assume also from the side of all participants, everyone will do their best to provide you with the answers and insights. So let us just have an open and fruitful discussion, and thank you all in advance. And as I mentioned in the beginning, we finally will send around in the chat link to gather some feedback, but for now, please feel free to discuss.
Yeah, I think Edgar
presented.
already has a question, or at least he raised his hand.
Thank you. So please, Edgar, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you for recommendations for applications. It was very useful, really. John, can I ask you about holograms, if you have any experience with it, and also is there any like organizations which is collecting data related to all these online educations and communications, and they're using this data to improve process of education online? Do you have any experience, you or anybody else?
What was the first part of your question? I didn't get that.
Do you have any experience with holograms? For example, do you know holoboxes? There are some holoboxes already. So maybe some applications are using it. And also, if you know any organizations which is using AI and deep learning and big data related to this education to improve the process of online education.
Concerning the first part of your question, I don't have any experience with that. So I can't really hint you at anything there. The second part of your questions, I just know for Germany that right now a lot of state-funded organizations develop and which are they're having meetups every week, and they're really looking also in the area of education how they could support teachers. After the meeting, I could get you a list of the organizations I know, but yeah, unfortunately, most of them are based in Germany, so I don't know if that applies then to your country or if it's really helpful. Some of the information is in English, but I'm not aware so much of things in other countries.
In general, it's okay. I think Germany is like flagship in this area, so it would be very nice to get it.
Yeah. I saw that you posted your LinkedIn in the chat. I will connect to you and I will give you the information then later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So are there any more comments or questions concerning the project results we've presented today? Do you have any ideas concerning our questions we've prepared? We would very much appreciate comments on that.
Nee.
I can see that Find is having a question.
Yes, it's basically two parts. I was just wondering, because we're talking about the different vet centers and different fields they're active in. One thing about the tools that I didn't see in the slides was the issue of, well, knowledge bases and wikis, basically for training, as well to share knowledge and resources. What your understanding and opinion would be if that's actually possible to share between institutions, if there's like a common denominator and enough knowledge that everyone can profit from, or if it's like highly specialized between the different institutions that yeah, it's hard to basically build one shared solution for also resources, tools, how to use them, yeah, that everyone could profit from.
You mean like one platform where multiple institutions having access to the courses, for example, or
yeah.
Well, basically this is possible, but I think, or at least in our experience, they do not. The institutions are not interacting with each other. It's more like they are using, or they are doing their own thing, and not coming all together with a joint request, with a joint goal. I mean, in the end, they all have the same goal, but of course, everybody wants his own tool or targeted tool, and I think it's more a matter of them being jointly making a request in this direction. But basically, from the tool itself, it's definitely possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I could say something as well. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
So I work for a vet center in Germany, which is for the professions of construction. And as I understood, Veit, your question is if there is the possibility to share knowledge between institutions. And actually, we are right now working on a project which is called DigiCVET. So what we are trying is, or what we are doing now, is building a platform where different vet centers can upload their training materials. So right now we have, I think we have 5 countries who work on this platform right now, and it shall be ready at the beginning of the next year. So the idea is that you have, for example, your language, which would be, for example, German, and then you go onto this platform and then you see different topics. For us, for example, would be interesting about energy efficiency, digitalization, or circular economy. So there you have your already developed material. So we have a lot that we did in the last years, and then you can upload this material. And every language or every partner can as well upload their material on this page, so that in the end, somebody who is learning can enter this page, select his language, and just open the content and learn. So this is actually something that we are doing. And I don't know, maybe you, we can share contact information if you're interested in that, or maybe it's okay if you just know the project, but this is something that is now coming like in the at the beginning of the next year. It is called DGCVET.
Yeah, probably you can also paste in the link of your project if it exists into the chat. Sounds very interesting. Maybe Stefania, you raised your hand to this.
Yeah, exactly. I want to share some thought also to fight questions about it, and indeed is more not a limitation of the technology what you are asking for, and Angela is confirming that there is project that are going on in Germany. Is the national educational platform, with the main idea to connect different existing system, not to create a new system, but to connect what is exist as a shareable, let's say, big container where once you logged in, you can move around between, let's say, in this particular example, you move around inside vet centers and you will find wiki and documentation which is exactly the same everywhere, but everybody is building their own one. I think that the most concern building these common center of information and education is the user data. That's the most complex piece to connect, because as we know, for example, school have a very strong protectional way how they have to protect the data of the users. And so to say, when I have to log in to this, it means that somewhere the user data are also stored, because I'm moving around searching my information, wikis, and so on. So this is the piece that technology can support, but where, and it was at the beginning of the presentation mentioned also in our survey, is the fact that we have sometimes change the mindset inside school. So change the mindset that we need protection and security. That's correct. We need data protection, but we need also to go out and share with others without reinventing the wheels anytime. It's happening. What I'm trying to wrap up is happening. It's sometimes a little bit slow. I hope I can help you. I could help you.
Yes, thank you.
So is there anything else you would like to share? Of course, we hope that your institutions can somehow benefit from the project results presented today. So maybe there's one or another who could share his or her thoughts about this. So it would help us out here, since we invested a lot in order to gather these insights and these results. And of course, it would make us somehow also proud if we could could somehow support institutions who participated today. And
Yes, Laura, feel free to.
Hi, my name is Laura. I'm a teacher from Germany, Cologne. And thank you for your survey, for the results that you presented and the presentation. Myself and a colleague, we are actually in this presentation right now, and we just thought that maybe we would like to give a feedback that in some schools, at least in Germany, it is going quite well. And the survey results for us are kind of our standard or our position, maybe at the very beginning of the pandemic, in the very, very early stage of the lockdown, of the first lockdowns. And by now we have developed quite a lot of strategies. We have had trainings for colleagues and teachers and students. We have had a couple of people come in from externally and give us some workshops. There's still a lot of room for improvement, and there's still, sometimes it's a money question that there's just not that much room for more workshops that are needed. So it is actually integrated in our, daily routine, but I think we are on a very good way. And there's a lot of things like Padlet, for example, is for us sometimes a problem, because things like that we did use in the very beginning, but now we can't, because it's not compliant with our data protection rules anymore, for example. And so those questions are like finances and data protection rules are big problems and big issues in our what can we do, what can we use in schools. But on the other hand, we have had sorry. Oh, I don't. Okay. We are using Microsoft Teams. We are supplied with work iPads. We have smart boards in our classrooms that we use and that we communicate with our students with. So sometimes, some schools are on a good way. Just wanted to share that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And if I may ask, what are you using as alternative tool for Padlet when you're saying it doesn't suit your data protection?
I think we're just on Microsoft Teams. Everything goes over Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
We kind of reined in Padlet, but we're just not using that anymore. I liked it a lot, but I think it's a very good tool, and I think it has a lot to offer. But yeah, sadly, we're not using it anymore. And Microsoft Teams and OneNote and all that comes with that Microsoft Office.
So would you say that the data protection regulations are like, let's say, counterpart to that you can't improve with the digitalization process in the school?
I don't know if we can't improve due to that. I think sometimes it makes it a little bit more difficult, and because all those rules have to be interpreted and read and maybe adapted to what to nowadays, to what is actual right now going on in schools. All that takes a lot of time. So sometimes it's just a little slow, and that might be an obstacle as well.
And I mean, you were saying that that cost is a huge topic for implementing such tools. But would you consider, or have you ever considered implementing open source tools which are not fee-based and does not require that high costs?
I think we did, or we do, but then again, then we have to really check if that is in conform with the data protection rules again. So because a lot of open sources, source tools obviously have different rules that we can't, we can't use them in school due to that. So it's kind of a, vicious circle for back and forth.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, Laura, thank you for sharing, because I was actually quite surprised about the results from Germany. Like I said, yes, it seemed like, well, it's not progressing so much, let's say. So I'm quite happy, of course, as our main goal of the project is to improve the digitalization. So it's so nice to have your insight. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Yeah, I would like maybe to give one question to all the participants that are here with us today. So just connecting or to what Laura said, I would be interested to know what are like the main factors that are limiting in the end the improvement of digitalization in your cases. If someone wants to share, because like the data protection now for me was quite, I need to be honest, like not new, but I mean, gave me now a different insight. So now I have it more present. And yes, it's not only about money or staff management. So this is quite interesting for me. If someone wants to share their opinions or experiences, would be happy to hear. Thank you.
It probably feels almost like in school. No one wants to say anything. So all the teachers feel quite familiar.
I see Edgar and then Veit.
I may share some experience. I'm traveling a lot around the world. I used to be in Germany as well at 2008, and I saw in CEBIT lots of educational stuff back in 2008. And from that time, security of data is issue, really a big issue everywhere, not only in one country, but everywhere. And because education is related to schools and kids, and Zoom mostly are used by kids, it is really important to have security. Security of data, and maybe Chromebook is solving this somehow. Maybe somebody can share experience of Germany, or how it works in Europe, how they're securing all this stuff. Because open source by itself cannot be in highest security. Maybe something which is paid is more secure.
I'd just add to that and maybe answer it a bit. in my opinion, it's the same. A lot of insecurities when it comes to well, legal aspects and also data protection. It's often hard to actually get a hold and factual information that you can rely on. And if you have to get things checked to be compliant, that can take quite a while. In my case, I only have like a small insight into university context, more than businesses and trainings there. But yeah, the other part is when it comes to hindrances, also training and communication when you implement new tools. That's depending on how complex it is, also taking quite some time, resources, and also a lot of convincing to actually get across why it would be helpful and why it would be useful to actually have this implemented and not just use the tools you're already using. That can also take a while.
So Edgar, was your question answered?
I'm just asking a general question. I don't have any. This is like a big question which is unanswered or everywhere. Like, just if you have some experience how you are using, like maybe you are using special tools or approach or general VPN or something like that to protect data during this trainings, just share it. If no, then no problem. I'm actually coming from innovation industry. I'm working here more than 25 years. So I have enough experience with it, but it will be interesting to learn your experience too. Are you using any specific, maybe antivirus or malware programs to secure your data? Any approaches?
Who are you asking? Sorry, are you asking me? Sorry, I don't.
I'm asking general.
In general, okay. Well, the data protection is not using VPN in that sense, but is a kind of protecting authentication to each users there and know that where the let's say one of the most important piece of data protection is the encryption, so that we should have a system that encrypt the data that are moving from A to B outside the school, inside another institution, and back to the school, so back to the users. So this moving around should be full encrypted, and this is something that is a piece of technology that need to be in place before we talk about the next step. So where they are then stores, and again, when you store it, they should be encrypted as well. So this is the level of security which is requested in Europe in general now. And then we have fact with data for students are below 18, the age of 18, so they are not adults. So but mainly, to give you a quick answer, the encryption is the most important part.
Yeah, but my question was different. Like when you are using the Zoom or such application, you are opening the ports and gates to your computer or your mobile, so other viruses can enter to your computer. So encrypting is data is solving one part of the problem. But then computers of kids can become vulnerable. That's what I'm asking. If you have specific ways to protect those computers which are connected to Zoom or other applications.
I'm not expert in the security level of school, so maybe someone here that works in school that can give us more feedback about what they do it, how they do it.
Laura?
I'm not an expert either, but but I think Edgar, what you're looking for is it was a long process, at least at our school, till we got where we are now. We did start with Padlet, and we did start with Zoom and other things, and we did have the problem of we did have the security issue, and because that became an issue and was brought to the table that is an issue, that security part, now we just don't use it anymore. So the big thing is that we only use things that are secure for our students and that are encrypted. Yeah, so I think that's, if that helps or gives you a little bit of an answer.
I guess UK have a very good law for this. They have even department which is part of government, and they are asking every company to send even to pay for protection of data and their security. I can't remember the name of department, but let me search.
Christian?
Yes, maybe I can tell about a little about data protection we have in school now. The problem is with the data protection that the right now, especially in Germany, is so we can only use names. More than names are not as allowed to use. So if we go for the law and data protection, we must throw out all computers and all digital stuff and made all again on paper, because that is the law actually in data protection, because the encryption is technical, not yet environment, so that we can trust it. If one program say we have done this encryption mode, they go one person and say, I don't believe you. And that's the main problem actually. So we actually in school work so that we trust in this in the organization who gave us a program and used it as long as one say we are not allowed to use it. So we have now in Germany a big problem also with tools like Microsoft or Zoom or any other things like Padlets, because every week one came and say this program is not allowed to use because of data protection problems. And the only answer I can give then is, okay, I don't work with a computer anymore. We get iPads which are not data protection. We get smartboards that are accessible in internet are not contains the rule, and also the big servers of our own country have problems with data security. So we can only go the way to say it's important for us to teach the students to live in a world we have where there are problems with data security, that to learn how they secure their own data and which problems can happen when data go out. And if I read it very hard, normally the name of a person is the most difficult data that we go out, because I need only a name and can do on the internet everything I want with this name. And that's the problem with the digitalization, that we have such a high security level that we will still be 20 or 30 years behind the actual development. And there we must have such an opinion to say, either I do it not because I have too much fear of anything that can happen, or we say it's like the words works actually, and it's for me important to teach my students to live in such a digital world.
But trust is not enough. trust is not enough. There should be researchers and suggestions. At least Erasmus is working with government of European Union, so they can have some suggestions for them. Maybe having operating system specific for schools and kids who are using their notebook, they can load their own operating systems, which are using only one application. So it may become a solution for such things.
But that would not be a solution, especially here in Cologne, the country will have a big server and has the data of all school teachers and leaders had now a cyber attack, and all the data of a political institution was leaked. So how should I trust someone when also the political who have the highest security level in a country cannot protect his own data? So then I can say nobody trust anymore, and I must live in a world without any digital things. Either I learn to trust, or I live in 1852.
I don't think governments have higher security. I think companies have higher security.
Yes, but the government think that but governments have fear that the companies would steal their data, and they mean they had a higher security if they don't work with company. And that would still that need minimum 20 years before they can cooperate with another.
So may I step into this? Yeah, that's more than the discussion we have dreamed of. There are a lot of impulses, a lot of chances by digitalization, but also a lot of issues we can detect within this discussion. Thank you so much for all your contributions within this round. We really appreciate that very much. And furthermore, we would like to go and step further, as I mentioned in the beginning. And we would like to ask you for some feedback. I now sent around a link within the chat. This short questionnaire only takes, as I mentioned, 2 minutes. And we would very much appreciate a short feedback on this event by clicking on the smileys, so the so-called emojis, as well as maybe if you have some more to tell, you can of course let us know by answering the third question. So I leave you with this and would like to goodbye everyone by saying thank you for all your active participation today. It was really a pleasure. I would like to say arrivederci to our friends in Italy, au revoir to our Belgium friends from Liège, as well as, I hope I pronounce it correctly, Akshu, to our Lithuanian partners and friends. Hasta pronto to Christina, Alex, and friends in Madrid and Spain. And auf Wiedersehen. It was a great pleasure. And now, since Christina is picking up, I hand over to the project leader in Madrid.
Exactly. Yes, as Sebastian already mentioned, as I have sent as a leader of this project, I also just want to thank every one of you to join this, that you joined this meeting. For us, it's like one of the first big milestones that we achieved so far. So yeah, I'm really proud also so far about our teamwork, and I just want to thank all of you again. And if you don't mind, I would like to take a small like a screenshot of all of us. So if someone does not want to be seen on this picture that I'm taking now, then please just turn off your camera. And I'm also hand over to Alexander Bell just shortly, as he's my colleague from International Information Center. And yes, as we are the leaders, I think it's really good when we close this together. Alex, if you want to mention something.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was very interesting. As Christina said before, that we have to think about all the new laws of digital informations. I have another opinion, maybe, that we are not going as far as we can. As I'm a bit older, maybe, that now it's possible to do many things in presence again. We are going to the old fashion, and it's easier for us, and we need the social contact. And as we are not so used to work with tools, I'm only old fashioned. Excuse me very much. But maybe I can tell you one thing, what happens with us, where we are doing a lot of language courses. And when we were working in the pandemic situation, all the people had masks on, and we were already in the classes again. And when we had to make some pronouncement exercises, we had to go online because we couldn't see how the mouth is moving without taking away the mask. So we are forced to use digital tools. I don't know. I think many things are working very well on digital tools, and the digital tools are getting better. They're getting more social, and I think there's one improvement we can't stop. Even if you want to be with other people together, and to feel, to smell, and to many things, many informations are coming in presence different than on screen. So that's only my opinion. I think that's a very interesting project, and there are very interesting questions today, and I'm very happy that it was a very nice moment in this project. Thank you very much. Christine, you have to stop me talking because I don't stop. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I will say the final words. So I hope you will keep on following our project and the other results that we are going to achieve in the next months. And yes, thank you for your participation again. And yeah, I wish all of you a nice day and a really good week. Thank you. Adios.
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Hasta
Bye
luego.
bye.
Hasta
Ciao.
pronto.